Hello and welcome to not an episode of the 214 Sports Show. I'm TJ Krulowitz, and the reason why it's not a 214 Sports Show episode is because my friend, my co-host Joseph Duffy is not to be seen right now. He is not on camera. That is because he's on the road, and it's been a pretty busy semester for him. It's been a busy semester for me too. We're both wrapping up our degrees, him with graduate school, me with my undergrad. In fact, actually, the next episode of the 214 Sports Show, which will be next week again, as scheduled, episode 115, I will be a graduate of the University of Texas at Austin. So it's been a wild, wild, wild month. So we apologize for the inconsistency of uploading, and I wanted to make sure that we still posted something this week to keep it going, keep the streak going of posting. So although it's not a 214 Sports Show episode, this is still going to be a quick commentary because this is something that has been on my mind a lot. So let's go ahead and address the big elephant in the room, which is yes, the Dallas Stars are no longer in the Stanley Cup playoffs. In my 4 years of college, this is the first time that they have not made the Western Conference Finals. So a little bit of a weird feeling. It's been a long time, and you realize how much you take for granted going to the Western Conference Finals for 3 years straight. But the Dallas Stars did what the Dallas Stars do best in the playoffs, which is fizzle out. And they did it a little bit too quickly than they have in the past few years. But that's not really what I'm concerned about. I'm in the last stage of the grieving process for that elimination. I'm in the acceptance. All right, the Wild were the better team. They were great. Think their fans were the most bitchiest, whiniest fans in all of hockey, but the players deserved it. So got to give it to them, except for Marcus Foligno. But yeah, they are definitely a good team, and their reward is going to play Colorado, which is just the best part about being in the Central Division. We beat each other up before we even get to the later stages of the playoffs. But what really has been messing with me is I keep on getting these comments to me, and this is crazy to me because I'm in Austin. I don't get a lot of people around me that know hockey. Even though there's people from the north, whatever, people just don't care about hockey down here. There's not a culture, all right? There's no hockey team. There never has been, except for the Texas Stars, So shout out to the Texas Stars, but not a big hockey culture here. And even then, I'm still getting comments by people talking about the Jason Robertson trade saga, basically asking me how I feel, basically other fans of other teams coming up to me and being like, yeah, I think Jason Robertson is going to be on my team next year. I think he's going to be on the Red Wings. I think he's going to be on the Penguins. Whatever you want to say. And that has been eating away at me because it is the dumbest thing that one of the dumbest rumors that I've ever heard. I feel like this is a very, very obvious choice for Jim Nill and the Dallas Stars. You do not let go of Jason Robertson. You pay him what he wants. You pay him what he deserves. And, who knows what these contract negotiations have been? Who knows what has been discussed at this point? But you have a player that is definitely going to be asking for at least 12 million. You're going to be wanting to get the same amount of money as Miko is, maybe more. And that's going to be an issue. That's going to be an issue, obviously, but it's something that the Stars should not be seeing as impossible, which I think a lot of people think it is. And that's just stupid. That's plain stupid to me. And I think that even any of the rumors in the slightest, even talking about this is stupid. Yes, he has a contract coming up, or his contract is due. He's in his last year. He didn't get he didn't re-sign in the specific time zone or time frame that he needed to when the negotiations opened up. So there is some rumors there, but I just don't see why. I don't see why. I obviously know why people are saying why he will get traded, and I'll go through some of that. I mean, the first one is that you don't have money. You can't pay him. Um, yeah, the Stars don't have the money specifically. I believe they have 8 to 9 million in cap space for this offseason, but the cap space is rising. It will be increased sooner rather than later by the NHL. I could send a link in my description on what that is. I can't tell you specifics, but I've heard a lot about it that it's going to be risen soon. And so for me, that gives me, although that means that Jason Robertson's going to ask for more, that means that we have more flexibility. Um, and to say that we can't make cap space is stupid. And I don't think anyone has said that. But I'm just saying if somebody has said it's stupid. You have players that you can dump. You have Tyler Myers, who I think will be dumped after his postseason. You have Michael Bunting, who, I don't see why he would even want to come back in the first place. I would be asking to get out of here. That's just completely embarrassing what the Stars did to him. Um, not playing him in the playoffs after trading for him in the deadline, because obviously he wasn't a game changer by any means, but somebody with that production pre-trade, um, getting completely outcasted in the playoffs, I don't see him coming back. Um, Nils Lundkvist is another person you can dump, salary wise. And you know what? There are other players too, and this is going to be my controversial take for this little commentary. I think it's possibly time to even trade Rupe Hintz, and I don't, man, it's gonna be hard to lose another Finnish person on this team, man. Another one of the Finnish brothers. But it's something that it's just you can't have a player like that skate the entire series and not play. I was extremely disappointed with Rupe Hintz in this last part of the season, this entire season, to be honest. And you can't control injuries, but you can control your recovery. And we kept on hearing that he was going to come back. He was skating, he was going to come back, and it just never got any better. And the thing is that what I've kind of learned from Rupe Hentz in the past few years is that he is not going to play if he's not 100%. And can you really get mad at that? You can, but you got to respect him, wanting to prioritize himself over a team. His team writes his paychecks, but overall, he is his own person. He is his own human being, and he can do whatever he wants. And if he feels like, he's not healthy enough, that is his respectful decision. But I'm here to say that I just watched Connor McDavid last week play on basically one leg, in game five of the Oilers, play almost 40, yeah, whatever, how much time he played in that game, a lot, over half the game, basically, almost. Not 40 minutes. I know that was stupid to say, but at least 20 minutes. And he played great, and obviously it didn't work out in the end. They still lost in six, but they extended the series because of it. And, that's just the type of hockey culture that you kind of want to have with the team, or at least that I want to have with the team. I thought that that was pretty cool of, I mean, that's what hockey players do. They fight through the injuries, and Rupe Hintz just doesn't fight through the injuries. And unfortunately, I just don't want to become impatient with players having to come back in such an important playoff series. So I think that that's the first reason why people say we have to trade Jason Robertson. I think that there are so many alleys that the Stars can go that will allow them to make money to re-sign Jason Robertson. So, and I don't see why any reason why they wouldn't try to do that. He is the star player of this team. He is the guy who shows up, and that brings me up to the second reason that I think people are is that I think people say that he's not a playoff riser, and that I think that he changed that. I don't think anyone's going to be saying that anymore after his first round against Minnesota, obviously scoring 5 goals in 6 of the games. In the first 5 games, he scored, being the leading scorer by far, having a 50-goal season, if you count regular season and postseason. And, it's almost like I feel like if Jason Robertson is playing that good, if he is dominating in a playoff series, that means the Stars are not dominating the series. Because this happens so many times. This has happened with the Oilers 2 years straight now, where he has had such a great series, and he is basically the only one that shows up on the offensive side. And so, it's almost like maybe he shouldn't be this good in the playoffs. Maybe it's like a bad omen or something. But I mean, in the end, the Stars need him in the playoffs. And you can argue that he wasn't there for the Colorado series last year in the first round, and the Stars still won. But that was a supernatural case of Mikko Rantanen playing like the best hockey player in NHL history. That's going to be really hard to replicate 2 years in a row or 3 years in a row or whatever, how many times we have to play Colorado in the next 5, 10 years in the playoffs, because I don't think the Stars are going to tank. I think the Stars are here for a while. They will stay competitive. They have so many players locked up for so long right now. Wyatt Johnston, Mikko Rantanen, and of course on the offensive side, you got Miro Heiskanen, Thomas Harley, and Jake Ottinger, all locked up for at least 2 to 3 years. And you just got such a solid core right there. you re-sign Jason Robertson, you have a team that can, definitely compete for years and years and years to come. So I don't think that that's going to be an issue for the Stars. I think that, um, but sorry, going back to Jason Robertson, he is a playoff riser. He has confirmed that, and I don't see any reason why this would not be the guy that you want to keep on the team because he's the only one that showed up on he was the only one that could find the back of the net for majority of the series against Minnesota. And I just, after having that series, what's there not to see? What's there not to see to re-sign this guy? I guess it comes to my third conclusion or my third reason why people would not think that Jason Robertson's going to be a Dallas Star and either next season or in 2 seasons from now, which is you got to prioritize other players, which is just stupid. Look, Maverick Bork should have been traded at the deadline. I said that. I always thought he had a really cool name, obviously, but ever since the Mavs traded Luka, his name kind of depreciated in value, at least to me. And he's a good player. He's a good player, but he did only have one goal. It's an important goal, Game 6 goal, 5-on-5 goal. Not a lot of those for the Dallas Stars this series, but he is obviously not producing the same as Jason Robertson. And in my opinion, I don't think he does really anything that Jason Robertson can't on the offensive side. Maybe, Bork has been good around the net. Jason Robertson sometimes doesn't go around the net often. He doesn't get close. But when he does, he doesn't have an issue of putting the puck in the net. He's not, it's not like a weakness or anything. It's not like Bork is better at it. I just don't see what he does any better. And I thought he was gonna be the person traded at the deadline. I don't know what happened during that deadline. We obviously don't know if Jim Nill tried to move him and just couldn't, or he didn't bother at all. But, that's another person. That's the second, guy in line that needs an extension. And, when you're trying to prioritize Jason Robertson and there's all these rumors about him leaving, um, Bork is the guy that needs to go. And, I fully expect the Stars to prioritize Jason Robertson over Maverick Bork. And if they don't, I think that that's a terrible, terrible, terrible mistake. But that's my TED Talk basically. The thing is that there are multiple reasons why people say the Stars can't re-sign Jason Robertson, but they're all false. They're all false. The Dallas Stars can re-sign Jason Robertson, and if they don't, they are making a grave, grave mistake. He is part of this core. And if they re-sign him, I believe that they have a good core that they can build around for years and years and years to come. I don't think that there is, they haven't been able to get the job done in the postseason yet with this core, but I think that there is so many opportunities for this Dallas Stars team to eventually do it. They have had the hardest path out of any team really in the last 4 years of getting it to the Stanley Cup Finals. The Central Division is Goliath. It is a monster of a division, and they've also never been able to stay healthy in the postseason. And I just fully believe you got to give this team at least one more run at it. You have to re-sign Jason Robertson because even if you do want to change the core, that's somebody who you want on the team. He's a good guy. He's gonna be a consistent goal scorer, somebody that can be one of the most dangerous people in the league on the power play. And I don't see why there's any reason they would sacrifice other play or Jason Robertson for, more cap space, more cap flexibility or other players because this is who you want on your team. I don't think they have any choice. But anyways, that's all I have. I hope you guys enjoyed this short commentary video. Um, if you did, please please subscribe. We have weekly YouTube podcast and Spotify podcast every Monday at 10 a.m. Usually with my friend Joseph Duffy, usually to my left. Not today, but he will be next week. So make sure to tune in. You can also follow us on X and Instagram and TikTok at 214 Sports Show, where we post extra content on today's dates, trivia, polls, all that stuff, all that interactive fun stuff where you can have your voice heard about Dallas sports. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll see you guys next week for episode 115.